All right, well, without further ado, take it away, Melissa, and tell us what on earth digital twins are.
Thanks, Bron. So I'm Melissa. I'm a senior consultant at Telstra Purple, and I mainly do application development in Angular and .NET. But recently I've been learning a lot about Azure and on the side as well, learning about digital twins. And so I wanted to share with all of you some of the cool stuff I've learned about it, because I find it to be a really exciting and interesting space. And there's new technology now that makes it way easier to use and a lot more accessible to all different kinds of people and different companies as well. So let's get into it. So what are digital twins? A digital twin is a digital blueprint or model of something in the physical world. And it's enabled by IoT, which we know as the Internet of Things, which are sensors that are on physical devices collecting data and telemetry. But really, it's a map of, say, your building or your process with all the IoT-enabled features and how they really relate to each other and have those different connections. So it's really all about those relationships, and it bridges the gap between the digital and physical worlds. And I see it as that next step in your IoT journey to really utilize that information and different telemetry that we're already collecting. And you can have twins of almost anything, really. You could have, say, a twin of your delivery truck and then like a twin of your whole entire delivery journey, and build up the different relationships between those types of twins to get that full picture of your business, to really see where steps are that you can improve or any sort of bottlenecks or things that you want to focus on. And the tech that we have now makes it so that we can create these twins with real-time information, and then also allows us to react and automate in real time as well. But why do we want to talk about these digital twins? Well, 74% of all IoT projects are actually considered failures. And this is because we tend to focus on single point solutions. So something such as like a smart bin or a parking sensor, it's a quick win and it can give us some benefit. But if we're not looking at the full picture of how we're using those parking sensors to operate our parking garage or whatever it may be, you're not getting that full benefit for your business. And we actually end up with more of islands of things rather than Internet of Things, because that data is not linked together. And so each IoT solution is kind of separated on its own island. So this is where digital twins comes in to really solve this problem. We build up those relationships and bridge the gaps and turn those islands back into a true Internet of Things. And there's a lot of different types of relationships. The models and technology that we have with Azure Digital Twins, I'll talk about in a sec, really is flexibility, has a lot of flexibility on how we create those models. It's fully customizable, and the relationships can be hierarchical. So a twin can be made up of other twins. So say your building has rooms inside of it and so on, or they could be associated. So if you have electricity line that you're looking at different points where the power is coming in and out, you can have those related on a twin of how they cover the full process. Or they could be more of just any sort of discovery loosely related twins based on, say, the location or any sort of context that really makes sense to your business. So I'm really learning about this now and here talking about it because I work for Telstra Purple, which is a tech consultancy and technology service provider that's owned by Telstra. And Telstra's been in the news recently that they're partnering with Microsoft on these digital twins and really focusing on this tech. And we've done some cool projects recently where we implemented digital twins for Downer in their digital asphalt plant. But we've also been looking at digital twins for all of the Telstra buildings. So this is a little 3D animation of the digital twin that we've started with for Telstra. So this is the building in Victoria. And you can go inside and check out the different floors and see, what's happening based on, you can see the meeting rooms, you can see where all the floors are set out. And so the idea with this sort of 3D model is it'll then be linked up to IoT sensors and different types of telemetry that we're collecting within the building. So then you can do things like capacity planning, and especially with COVID, if we want to do sort of a staggered going back to work. And so you can see, where there's too many people concentrated, or potentially someone could even use this type of thing to have their workers look before they even go into the office to see if there's space for them. And so there's a lot of opportunities that you can use these digital twin technology with. And it's all about that flexibility for your business. And as I said, we're using Azure Digital Twins as our solution. And this is just an overview from their end-to-end tutorial of how you can implement Azure Digital Twins, but it's a fully PaaS service offering. And it really enables the creation of these, the graphs that show the relationships of the digital models and in real time reflect the environments and reflect the physical thing that they're a twin of. And it's really cool because it can all tie together into things that we're already familiar with, such as your IoT hub or Azure functions. So in this example, they have a digital twin of a building where there's a floor, and within that, there's a twin of a room, and that room has a thermometer, a thermostat, and you're getting real-time information in from your IoT hub, and you can have sort of events that process and update the actual temperature in the room based on Azure functions and other business processes as well. So you can take that next step into really automating and taking advantage of AI and machine learning and all different kinds of things. One part that I think is really cool with the Azure Digital Twins service offering is that they also have a really nice way to view the graphs and the relationships and play with the different models. So if you didn't want to have or didn't have the time yet to create that cool 3D model, you can just go into what's called the ADT Explorer. So I'll just open that up real quick to show you what that looks like. So this is just from a sample project that Microsoft has on their Azure Digital Twins documentation. And what's set up here is a twin. We've defined 3 different models. So these models are defined using what's called the Azure Digital Twin definition language, which is very similar to JSON. So say for our room, this is what the model information looks like. So this was just a JSON file that I uploaded here to define the model. And it says, it has these properties, it's an interface and all that. And then, here's the close button. And then we have the same for like our floors and the building and all of that. And so to then create this graph view of our environment where we're saying, hey, we have 2 floors, and with that, inside that, there's all these different rooms. You upload a graph to here. So I just did a file upload of an Excel spreadsheet, but you can do this through CLI. There's a really nice .NET SDK that integrates with this as well. And you can, obviously if it's Excel spreadsheet, it's not automated, but if you're using the command line or the .NET framework, then you can automate everything in there. And when you click on one of these rooms, it should show the properties. It's not doing it. Should have tested this. But it's supposed to show, oh, there you go. Slow to come up. So it shows the properties right there on the right-hand side, and you can actually go in here and edit properties on the fly. And if you had it set up correctly, that could then in the background go actually kick off the function that then goes talk to the IoT device and actually does the changes there. So say if we wanted to make this 55, it would save it. Obviously, there's nothing hooked up in the background to this, so it's not actually doing anything. But the other really cool thing about this is it's the whole querying language. So right now we're just done select star from digital twins. We can also do where temperature is greater than 70, and that'll just pull up all of the twins that have properties that are temperature that's greater than 70. So there's a whole lot of flexibility that you have with just this ADT Explorer in itself. So we don't have too much time, so I'll jump back to my slides if I can find them. And if we were to have time to implement a full solution, this is what an architecture could look like. So it really integrates with almost anything. There's a lot of flexibility. So you can integrate with REST APIs as well as your IoT hub. So if you have data sources coming in from non-IoT devices or any sort of other information that you want displayed in your twin, you can have it integrate as well. And then you can output that into some sort of client app to show it, on a map or a 3D model, and then go out into, as well as your storage, data lake, all those analytics and other sort of really cool features. So this was a really whirlwind introduction to digital twins and what they are and some of the technology offering that we have behind it. But that's all from me right now. So thank you, everyone. And I'll take any questions you have.
Wow, I think we're all blown away. That was fantastic, very impressive. Yeah, questions, people ask questions. The 3D model in particular was particularly impressive, and I might have blinked and I missed it, but the actual visual of that as well, even, is that something that this that the service can provide based on the model that you provide?
So that it can integrate with like Azure Maps. So for our digital asphalt plant solution, we've integrated with just a 2D aerial map of the asphalt plant. And on that, it'll show little indicators of the sensors, and they'll change color when it gets to, a certain threshold and that kind of thing. And that's all part of the Azure PaaS solution. So there's, a lot of cool things you can do with that. I'm not on the team that's building the digital twins for the Telstra building, so I don't actually know how they're going to integrate that 3D model into the Azure platform.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Matt has asked if he had, say, a microcontroller that had internet access, how could he push data to it?
I wish I could tell you.
Turns out I've got a lot here, so I could, if I had like an API that I could write to, like this one's got a button on the front, even just getting that button recorded in this system would be great.
Yeah, definitely. And so another cool thing about this Azure Digital Twin stuff is they did just a new release this year, I think in October, but or no, it was in July. I forget the month of the one this year, but they had a previous one from 2018 that they've actually completely deprecated, because the new one now is the one that has that API support and makes it a lot more flexible. So you can sort of bring your own IoT hub if you want, rather than having to use, a pre-built part of their solution.
Fantastic. And I think we've all confirmed that the 70 degrees would be Fahrenheit.
Yeah, sorry. Part of that that was just from their sample, and part of that is I am American, so it made sense.
There was a lot of concern for your fellow business colleagues.
Yeah, 70 degrees is a comfortable temperature.
It looks like that's about 21 degrees, so that sounds good. All right, well, if anybody else has any questions, as always, can always ask them at the end, ask in chat. Thank you very much for that, Melissa. And also thank you for introducing us all to the ability to have subtitles automatically put up through PowerPoint. And a couple of people say it might even be possible through the Google presentation as well. Yes. So I think that's excellent if anybody wants to play with that in future as well.
And I'm going to share a link in the chat that'll have a link to all my slides, as well as the tutorials and resources that I used for this, if you want to have a look.
Excellent. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that.